Now, this success journey is really very close to my heart. You always learn something from whenever you are working with people, and you learn more when you are working with the people who are high profile, working very hard. And whenever I work with single moms or moms, I always learn. And seriously, I put it in her success journey at LinkedIn. Victoria, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, you manage son, and I have to say that I'm asking her, let me drop my son, then I will do this thing. Let me have my meetings like from 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. till 4, 5, 6 p.m. She has to take for her work. Then kid, then dog, and then of course for about herself, for family, all the things. Even with all these things, she did PMP in, I guess, 2 months, and it was beautiful. And it's not that she has taken PMP training before. No, no, no. Agile was something entirely different, entirely new. She came to it, she really worked hard, and she went to the exam. And I'm very proud to say that she did it with all above target. With
I know,
all
I'm happy about
that
that.
that is kind of a cherry on the top. She did it with all above target. So I'm really proud of you, how you did it. Why don't you share your journey? Because this is your success journey in your own way.
Yeah, no, it was great. And honestly, just because it's fresh in my mind, when you sent me that, I guess it was an 18-minute video, that helped me so much, like right before my exam.
Hmm.
And you talked about the breathing, which because I always like rush and psych myself out when I take exams. So that was huge for me. Just because that's, that happened yesterday. So it's like fresh in my mind, but that made a tremendous difference for me.
Hmm.
And, being able to be calm and take the exam, take my time when you broke it out, for the first 60, 80 minutes, and
Hmm.
then from there. So it really helped me with the time management and not just rushing through it. But yeah, I think I mean, even when I took the exam, it was like the things that you had, all of the mock exams,
Hmm.
it was almost verbatim
Hmm.
the real exam
The
tests.
context, the context was same. How
Yeah.
we looked into that. Okay.
And then I knew what to look for, you
Mm-hmm.
know, another huge thing, right? When you read the last sentence first,
Mm-hmm.
it already puts it in your mind what they're asking because it's some of those 3 or 4 sentence questions you can kind of get a little bit lost and over,
Mm-hmm.
at least I do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So reading that first one, I already know, okay, this is the question they're asking,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back and read the context.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
Okay.
feel like it was
Okay.
easy, not easy, but it was having that approach, it was easier to weed it down to at least 2 questions,
Mm-hmm.
out of 4,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So how did you manage time in the real exam?
just like you said. So I was glad I'm sorry, my dog keeps nudging me. Yeah, so knowing that this is going to be the hardest, because I think that's a big thing, right? In that first section, it's going to take more time. And like going into it with that knowledge of this is going to be the hardest section.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the next section is to be a little easier. And then
Mm-hmm.
that final section is going to be a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easy to get overwhelmed if you're like,
Mm-hmm.
you think all the 180 questions are going to be just like the first 60,
Yeah. Good
right?
point.
So having
Yeah.
that knowledge going into it,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, this is the worst I'm going to get like out of the whole exam, right? So
Yeah.
see that the way you structured that in that last video was,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was listening to it on the way to take the exam.
Mm-hmm.
And not that that's safe, but I was just listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, just to keep it fresh on my mind. And yeah, to me, that was super helpful.
That was super helpful. Okay. So let's look into that further. We covered 12 topics of PMP: stakeholder communication, team, agile, risk, quality, procurement, scope, schedule, cost, integration. If you have to say one topic that is the most important, which one was that?
Process, probably.
The
I
entire
think,
process. The
yeah,
entire
and
process.
knowing, at what phase. what's the next step?
Mm-hmm.
Basically a sequence in that,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's project life cycle or what. But to me, that was very important,
Mm-hmm.
keeping the sequence of things, because
Mm-hmm.
there was tricky questions where it sounds right, but if you don't know that project life cycle right and what the next step is, and those keywords right that you mentioned, that really did help with the exam for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Mm-hmm.
it says next or what should you do first, because there was other answers that could have been right, but yet, keeping in mind those keywords and what the question's really asking you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't say first or next, then you could choose the best out of that scenario based on what phase that project life cycle is in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. How much understanding agile is important for the exam?
Very, I think.
It's
Yeah,
important. It's great.
very.
It's
Yep.
critical. Okay. Okay. That's an important thing. Okay. Now, when I talk about agile, is it about the values and principles of agile that is important, or is it 12 principles of agile, or is it Scrum, Kanban? What is important to know?
I think Agile and the Kanban. I only had a few that I recall with the Scrum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so most of it was just with the Agile methodology, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, okay. So the entire thing is important. Okay, let's talk about now. We went from first we did mocks without timer on the Google form, then we with the timer, and then we come back to without timer in the
Yeah.
last one or two mocks. How important it is for anyone who is preparing for the exam to do those random mocks. You remember the mind-boggling mocks, and how important when you are answering this, how important it is for do 180 question answers.
Oh, I think it's very important. I didn't do as many as I would have, or I probably both would have liked. So we kind of had to do it in, as far as the time goes, in 60. So I think, I would have increased my speed on the test and not been concerned with time had I
Mm-hmm.
taken more of the 180 one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that were timed.
Okay, so
Because that's
180 is very important when it comes to the time management.
mhm.
When you want to learn and when you want to build your kind of stamina, right?
Yes,
That's what.
exactly.
Yeah,
Get used
you.
to being focused
Mm.
that
It,
long.
yeah, this is a very critical thing. I really like what you said. You need to get focus for a certain period of time, and doing that really is challenging. You have to be focused with the dog is coming, the sun is calling, maybe get some message from here or there. Of course, TikTok and all those things are always there. Yeah, and you have to be focused for 4 consistent hours. So that is kind of a challenge what we are listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How many critical path questions or what to say formula questions you had?
Not many, only a couple. Like, not, I was surprised. I felt like the majority, I had a lot of more agile type, you know, focused questions. There was definitely some predictive, but I was surprised that it seemed to be more on the agile methodology.
More on agile methodology. Were there any question where you have to actually select a graph?
Yeah, so there was one graph, one that I think I mentioned, but it was on, like, earned value management. And then there was, they actually I had two where you had to, I can't remember now, like what it was,
Because
but you had to
because
slide them over and it was like six of them. So you
uh,
had to like match them. And
mhm,
those were a little confusing. Like a couple of them, I'm like, but with the, paying attention to those keywords
mhm,
and doing the root cause analysis, like you say, right? Before
mhm,
you
mm,
select your answer, that helped a lot.
that
But
kind
yeah,
of.
there's two where it had basically you take them from the left side and you slide
Mhm,
them, match them to the right.
mhm,
I only had one graph aside from,
mm.
the matching, which I wasn't expecting, but
Yeah,
that was
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So let's say, Victoria, you have to start when we talked for the first time. Let's say this is a day one. You want to join the program. you want to start. Consider you are giving advice to your younger self, a 2 month younger Victoria. What would you advise if you have to clear PMP in 4 weeks?
Do it. Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Make it happen,
Make it happen. Yeah.
So set that, whatever that time block is, and
Mhm.
don't let anything get in the way, right?
Mhm.
If you fit to 2 hours, 4 hours, or if it's, I'm getting through this coursework,
Mhm.
stay disciplined and
Mhm.
do it.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. That is really true. That is really true, Victoria. Okay, Victoria, now I want you to advise to working moms, particularly, especially those who have to take child, those who have job and those who don't have job. It's a both difficult problem. If you have a job, it's a problem you have to work. And if you don't have a job, you have a child, it's a mental problem that I need a job, how I can feed. So how they can do PMP? How did you manage time? And please think that they are thousands of them are going to listen to you, not in just US, not in just Canada. My majority audience is in India, Pakistan, a majority is in Gulf. So everyone, how they can do and how they can manage, because you have a lot in your plate and you did it.
Yeah. So one thing, mom guilt, or if you're a single dad or whatever, that's always going to be there. So you just have to stay focused on why, right? Why am I doing this? This
Mhm.
is short term sacrifice. And trying to use that. And, actually, towards the end, my son he said, Mom, you need a break. He said, I feel like all you do is work in school. You're like, it's like I'm living with a computer, And I was like, well, look, sometimes this is just for a short temporary time. And once that's over, it'll be worth it. But, teaching your kids that, hey, sometimes we have to make those sacrifices. We
Mhm.
do things that are not fun. I'm
Mhm.
not doing this because I exactly want to do it, but I want to invest in myself and my career.
Mhm.
And so I would go to the park.
Mhm.
And when I realized yours were mobile friendly, that helped me so
Mhm.
much instead of having to have a laptop. So if you can go to the park and do those mock exams, or the videos are easy, right, to do on your phone, but
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
mock exams are super mobile friendly. So
Mhm.
for me, that was the best thing. We
Mhm.
go play at the basketball park. Normally I'd be playing with them, but I would just sit there. At least I'm outside, he's having fun, and I don't feel as guilty, right? But I'm getting that exam done. So
Mhm.
being flexible with, hey, if just like we pivoted, right? Because I
Mhm.
couldn't do
Mhm.
sometimes within, having kids with interruption, just setting a timer on your phone and just keeping track of it that way,
Mhm.
with the untimed tests that you sent me, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So that at least I'm able to complete the test
Mhm.
despite having those, interruptions, right? With
Mhm.
having a kid.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I really like, and that's why we made it mobile friendly. And even now, I'm making more and more videos in the portrait mode, so that those people who cannot give 100% of their time and sit together, because it's difficult, it's challenging. I really like what you said. He's playing basketball, and that okay, he's in the ground, so why don't I use? So instead of talking to other moms, so let's focus that time and use it. I really like it. This is a good way. I'm gonna use it. You
yeah,
can, yeah, yeah.
you have to be a little creative with,
Mm-hmm.
taking advantage of the time you have, and you know, also something that he's distracted, he's having fun, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
it takes away that guilt of, oh, I just worked all day and now I'm studying all day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are right. You are right. It all comes down to being more creative, how you can work into that way, and how you can improve that way. Yeah, that's really true. I really like what you said, that setting the vision clear whenever you get too much, why we are doing it, right? Why I even started on day one, because you see, when I started doing batch is very easy for me actually. You have been doing some of the classes. I do 6 days class, and then there are coaching calls. That's very easy. When it comes to one to one, I need to give personal attention. I need to understand nuances, of course, all the challenges of course,
The
I'm from a different
frequency.
culture. Yeah. So all everything. But this is the reason why I did it, because people like you, busy moms, busy fathers, single moms, they cannot do in a group. They cannot sit for 6 hours. They need to study at their own way, at own pace, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm really proud of Victoria. Anything else in the final you would like to say?
No, I'm just so grateful that I stumbled on you on YouTube because I don't think I mentioned it here, but as you know, I purchased a what I thought was a boot camp for the PMI scheduling professional,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and it was garbage. And then I started doing more research and I found you. And I hate being on video, but the coaching calls was one of the things. And then you had another video that caught my eye where it was specific, outside the PMP, but I knew this is real content. This is things that will be on exam, right? And you went through maybe 10 questions.
mm-hmm,
But seeing those coaching calls
mm-hmm,
and seeing how quickly some of your students,
mm-hmm.
4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I didn't think I was gonna do as well as I did and in this short amount of time, right? But yeah, seeing that, seeing other people's success, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just it made me reach out and then purchase it,
Yeah.
and and I know you had to stay on me. So
I'm
but
proud of that. I'm proud of that, that you are able to do it, you are able to get it done, because that really, all the effort that you put, right? All the effort that you put, because I'm there. My job as a coach is to make sure you cross his line. So sometimes I'm soft, sometimes I'm very hard. I
we
know.
need better, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh
But
yeah, you're
but
right.
yeah, but it's like you will, now I'm gonna use an analogy, you will resonate it. For me, being a servant leader, when I become, for me it's like being a mother. I'm a man, but it's me for being like a, being a mother. Like even today, when my basically wife, she picks and drop children most of the time. I hate driving, so she picks them. So she's actually, when my son, he never gets ready. He's not in the morning, he's never eating food, so she's yelling at him. But at the end of the day, what she's looking, that he does not get late. So when I am working with my students, yeah, sometimes I can be hard, I know that. I need to work on that too. So
No, that's good. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. So the goal is straight, and I'm very happy that we are able to do that. So thank you very much, Victoria, for giving me the opportunity to work with you and helping you in to become PMP. I'm very happy of you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
I so appreciate it.
okay.
And on to